just put so much time into it.
It's time to kick off our last show of the year, and we've got a lot of ground to cover. I'm your host, Justin Holbrook. What a year it's been for football in Southeast Ohio. Tonight, we're going to look back at the 2015 season, and we're also going to reveal our next player of the year to close out the 17th season of Gridiron Glory. Plus, we can't forget about Jackson and Zane Trace, who are playing for a regional final championship tonight. And speaking of which, Zane Trace and Wheelersburg, two teams who have been on two different pages when it comes to the postseason. And our senior reporter, Carter Eckel, was in Waverly tonight to see who could claim that regional final championship.
Oh, you know, Justin, in terms of experience, it was a David versus Goliath battle. The Pirates are in their third straight regional final, while the Pioneers picked up their first postseason win just 2 weeks prior. And tell me what, it was a welcome to the jungle night. This D5 Region 17 final was packed at Waverly High School, and the Wheelersburg Pirates got started early. Kyle Davis, 22-yard quarterback keeper, puts the Pirates in the red zone, setting up Keaton Newsome. He's going to bulldoze his way for 16 yards down to the 1-yard line, setting up his quarterback Kyle Davis, who punched in the touchdown, 7-0 Wheelersburg early in the first quarter. Zane Trace's second drive, they would get the ball moving, the Pioneers. Austin Harris finds Pierce Mowry 6 yards for a first down, but that's as far as the Pioneers would get. A couple plays later, Austin Harris dropping back, looking, finds Clint Hatfield sacked, loss of 6 for the Pioneers, and 2 plays later, it would go from bad to worse. Austin Harris can't handle the snap, chooses just to fall on it and eat it. That would force the Pioneers to kick a 52-yard field goal. They did have the distance, but it was wide left. Wheelersburg had a couple 3-and-outs of their own. Zane Trace trying to get the ball moving here in the second quarter. Truman Love, 9 yards, first down. However, once again, Pioneers can't get anything going. 3rd and long, Austin Harris finds the ground. Incomplete pass. That would give Wheelersburg the ball back, and they would finally make them pay. Jordan Howard, 9 yards into your kitchen for a touchdown. Kyle Davis would end up getting that touchdown, capping off that drive. 14-0 Wheelersburg, 31-0 final score.
So, Carter, we knew both teams were capable on the defensive side of the ball, but how was Wheelersburg able to get another shutout?
Oh, Justin, the Pirates' defense has only allowed 7.7 points per game this season, and they close out the D5 Region 17 tournament, giving up just 10 points in their 3 postseason games combined. But Zane Trace came out of the chute ready to play. They were able to move the ball effectively early in drives. They used their rushing offense, which has been their main weapon all season, but mental miscues hurt them as they moved the ball down the field. Zane Trace fumbled on each of their first 3 possessions, whether it was the drop of a snap or a bad pitch. As soon as the Pioneers started to put together some momentum on offense, they cost themselves valuable yards on miscues.
So the Pirates defense brought out their best effort, but I hear their special teams had some tricks up their sleeve.
Oh, trickery indeed, Justin. It might even be an understatement. The Pirates head coach Rob Woodward were looking to put the game away as quickly as they could. They followed up both of their touchdowns with onside kicks. Even though they weren't able to recover either, Zane Trace couldn't make the Pirates pay for the advantageous field position.
So Zane Trace's season comes to an end, Carter. What do you see for the Pioneers in the future?
Well, they had an historic and nearly perfect run come to an end for the Pioneers. 13 weeks ago, I'm not sure how many Pioneers thought they would have made it this far. After picking up their first ever postseason win in school history 2 weeks ago, the Pioneers should be incredibly humbled with what they have been able to accomplish. Dwayne Hall and the senior leaders were able to push the envelope as far as they could. The Pioneers will lose a lot of seniors to graduation, including running backs Truman Love and Trey Rittenhouse, wide receiver Pierce Mowry, tight end Alex Wolf, and Joel Dunkel, who's capable of playing almost anywhere. The Pioneers just ran into a Wheelersburg team with a chip on their shoulder and the kind of playoff experience they needed to stay composed when situations got rough. Justin, keep your eye on Zane Trace, though.
So a tough loss for Zane Trace, but a great year for the Pioneers. Carter, thanks for everything. Now, this was the first time Gridiron Glory has covered teams in the Mid-State League and Scioto Valley Conference. Eric Threet takes a look back at all the action in 2015.
Out of the 5 teams we covered between the Mid-State League and the Scioto Valley Conference, Zane Trace was the only team to advance to the postseason. But as these teams look ahead to the future, there are plenty of positives to pull from this season. Amanda Clear Creek and Fairfield Union both finished with a record below 500 and struggled for scores throughout the year. It wasn't all bad though. The Aces knocked off the 6-1 Logan Elm team in Week 8, and Fairfield Union scored 20-plus points in their final 2 games of the season, which is something they failed to do all year. The Bloom Carroll Bulldogs, on the other hand, were amongst the top-tier teams in the Mid-State League. But their failure to beat those top 3 Mid-State League teams has them on the outside looking in. Transitioning to the Scioto Valley Conference, the Unioto Shermans had an up-and-down season. They finished 5-5 and failed to make a splash in the SVC. Then we have the Zane Trace Pioneers. Flawless regular season record. Hosted and won a playoff game for the first time in school history, and they have a Coach of the Year candidate on their sideline.
Blaine Carher joins me now to talk about the future of these teams in the Columbus area. Blaine, we're going to start with the SVC. Now, Unioto had a roller coaster season, while Zane Trace just plowed over everyone.
Well, yeah, Unioto, they really didn't contend in the SVC like Zane Trace did, but they really have some positive takeaways from 2015. They did hit that 500 mark, and junior quarterback Clay Elder, he came into his own throughout the season. He racked up almost 1,000 yards through the air, and even though Unioto will be missing senior utility player Eric Housley next year, I really think Elder will have no problem filling in and leading.
And now to the Mid-State League. What's next for Bloom Carroll?
Well, Coach Bartholomew, he's just such a dynamic guy. No matter who he's coaching, they're bound to be contenders in the Mid-State League. He's still new to the program, and next year, the guy, there's really nowhere to go but up for this Bloom Carroll team from that 6-4 season this year.
So now Amanda Clear Creek is going to be missing some big players. How can they get stronger in 2016 without Jordan Leisure?
Hey, we're all going to miss watching Jordan Leisure play, but Coach Hinton, he told me at the beginning of the year he was really excited about his young guys on the O-line. They're all underclassmen, and I have a feeling that whoever steps into Amanda Clear Creek's running back position, they're really going to have a smooth transition because of that experienced O-line.
So a big shout out to those big guys over there in Amanda Clear Creek. What's next for the Fairfield Falcons?
Hey, the Fairfield Falcons, it's just another example of a team that they just couldn't keep up with the talented teams in the Mid-State League. But at the end of the season, they were able to produce more on offense than they had been doing the whole season. So the future's looking pretty bright for those guys.
Well, I'm looking forward to that future. Blaine, as always, thanks for the great work. Now I'm going to talk about it. Like I mentioned before, we're revealing our next player of the year at the end of tonight's show. And once that player is named, we want to know your reaction, so tweet at Gridiron Glory to voice your opinion. And after you're done on Twitter, head over to Facebook and give us a like. It's the off-season for all of our teams, but you can still send Snapchats of your team working out in the winter, getting ready for next year. Alexander went 9-1 in the regular season, tying its best record in school history. And to top it off, the Spartans won their first ever playoff game behind 21 seniors. But there was one Spartan that stood out above the rest in the TVC Ohio.
Ethan Chapman, running back, Alexander High School. We don't really crush people, but I think I describe this as a just nightmare for people. I'm really just comfortable with calling the shots and leading things. It's just been something natural to me that I enjoy doing. I mean, I don't have the most tackles or the most interceptions or anything, but I make sure we're always in the right spot and I call our defense. Hard work doesn't pay off. It means that it doesn't matter where you start, it's all about where you finish. And I enjoy being on the field at all times. I don't like coming off really. It gives you some confidence, when you're carrying the ball quite a bit. Sometimes you get tentative, but with them I can just keep being aggressive. We never had one day of a kid being selfish on our team. Everybody always wants the other person beside them really good. I think we brought a new spark to our community that was really needed. And there's nothing like a good football team in the community. I think that's what everybody was wanting for so long. You're going to play and you're going to spend the time. Make sure you cherish it. Don't ever forget the hard work or the memories of friends you made, because it does go by quick, and you'll be playing the last game before you know it.
As you can see from his stats, Chapman got it done through the air and on the ground. He completed 63% of his passes for 451 yards, but most of his damage came running the football, with over 1,200 rushing yards and 24 touchdowns. And Mason is here in studio with our senior reporter, Nick Camiotti.
Well, here he is, Mason Chapman of the Alexander Spartans. Mason, it was a historic year for the Alexander Spartans. What does it mean for you to be a part of a senior class that really turned this program around over your 4 years?
It's just special to know that we left our legacy behind and that we hold a very big standard for people to come at Alexander, and we really started something new, and it just means a lot.
So this year you took snaps at quarterback and running back, but you also played a huge role on the stout defense that you guys had this year. What does it say about you that your coaches put that much responsibility in you this year?
I just think it means that I'm trustworthy. My coaches have a lot of faith in me, and it just all starts with following our 4 pillars that we follow Alexander, and I think I've showed them that I can go by those every day, and they just have trusted me to do what they need to get done on the field.
All right, thanks, Mason. We'll see who takes home the award later in the show. Back to you, Justin.
Thanks a lot, guys. Before this year, the TVC Ohio was dominated by Athens and Nelsonville York. But as Clark Woolley tells us, the Bulldogs and Buckeyes took a back seat in the most unpredictable season in recent memory.
The TVC Ohio Championship came down to the final week, and for a majority of the season, 4 teams remained in the hunt. Athens, a typical powerhouse of the conference, fell off as the season progressed and eventually took a back seat to new teams ready to flex their muscle. Alexander, Meigs, and River Valley, teams that combined for a record of 8-10 in conference play just 1 season ago, dominated the conference this year with a combined record of 14-4. Nelsonville York, a team that finished second last year with a conference record of 5-1, found itself in the basement by season's end. Plagued by injuries on the field paired with issues off of it, the Buckeyes would like to make the 2015 campaign one to forget. So who did end up winning this race for the title? We'll just ask the boys from Albany. The Alexander Spartans capped off a record-breaking season with a TVC Ohio championship, an undefeated conference record, and its first playoff win in school history. The TVC Ohio didn't play out quite as expected, but what it lacked in predictability, it certainly made up for in thrill and excitement.
Thanks, Clark. Joining me on desk now is Michael Drabshow. Michael, I know you want to look ahead to next season, but I'm going to rewind a bit and look at some of the predictions you made about the TVC Ohio before the year.
Fair enough, Justin. I was honestly kind of hoping I could avoid this, but here we go. My top 2 picks weren't great coming into the season. I had a strong feeling about NY. They were bringing back Hunter Edwards, Noah Andrews, and Alex Mount. And I thought having all those playmakers coming back would really make this team pretty dangerous this year, but some issues with the coaching staff and injuries really slowed the team down. However, I did have the eventual TVC Ohio champs and Alexander in the top 3, and I said that the dark horse to make some noise this year was going to be River Valley, so my picks weren't all bad.
Okay, enough about this year. What do you see happening next season?
Well, the thing that made the TVC Ohio so interesting this season is that at different times this season, it seemed like the conference title was up for grabs. And I feel like that's how next season will play out too. The Spartans had a ton of seniors on this year's team with guys like Mason Chapman, Joey Barnes, and Lucas Thompson. And with those guys gone, I really think it'll be difficult for them to repeat. And River Valley will lose Dayton Hardaway and Kirk Morrow, and Athens will be losing Zakiah Saltzman too. So of the top 4 teams from this past season, Meigs is the only one that brings back its top player in Cody Bartram. So with Bartram coming back, I have my eyes on the Marauders for next season.
So you think Meigs is going to stay near the top of the TVC Ohio next season. Is there a team that you can see moving up from the bottom of the conference?
Well, I actually mentioned earlier how this team struggled last year. Maybe I was a year early on this pick, but I think NY could potentially make that move and return towards the top of the conference. Hunter Edwards, Noah Andrews, and Alex Mount will all be back again next season. And the key for this team will be getting some stability at the head coaching position. With another year together and more stability, this team could really return to form next year.
It was a great season at TVC Ohio this year. I can't wait for next year. Michael, thanks a lot. Now, Clark mentioned the impact Alexander's game against Meigs had in Week 10. And with the TVC Ohio on the line, this matchup was easy to pick as one of our top 5 games of the year.
With the TVC Ohio Championship on the line in Week 10, the stakes were never higher as the Meigs Marauders hosted the Alexander Spartans. Alexander came in riding a 7-game winning streak, looking for an outright conference title, while a 6-3 Meigs bunch had one last hope for a share, its first since 1998. The home crowd in Pomeroy was ready for an upset, and for a while it looked like they just might get one. After a tough touchdown run from Lane Collins, the Marauders held an early 14-7 advantage. The first half was full of huge hits and big plays, both teams looking to get some momentum. At halftime, nothing separated the two rivals, deadlocked at 14. The second half was a different story. The Spartans flexed their muscles and senior Mason Chapman took over with back-to-back touchdown runs. He finished the game with 135 yards on the ground and 5 total scores. Alexander's defense sprang to life as well, providing relentless pressure on Cody Bartram. At the final whistle, the Spartans emerged with a 35-26 win and the top spot in the TVC Ohio.
We already saw Mason Chapman was a force to be reckoned with in the TVC Ohio, but there was another player in that conference that also deserved to be on our Player of the Year finalist list.
Zakiah Saltzman, running back, Athens High School. I like playing running back the most, but being a receiver for Joe last year is pretty fun. I did actually expect to have this much success because the off-season I had was pretty crazy. I was pushing sleds or working out pretty hard every day. So. All those linemen were new, so I was just trying to make it as good as a first year as they could have because they're all coming back next year. But there were times when my team played with more confidence and it showed, and we had more success. Nelsonville, just growing up, you never really want to lose to those guys, so going undefeated against them, it's just an awesome feeling. It'd be a great honor. This is a really underrated area for football, and like the MVL and the TVC Ohio, the SEOL, those are some pretty good conferences, I think. And so the recognition to be the best player in this area would mean a lot to me.
I get hyped every time I watch that. Here's a stat for you. Out of all the players we cover, Zakiah Saltzman scored the most touchdowns with 37. In case you need more, he also racked up over 2,000 yards rushing. Zakiah was unable to be here tonight, but he stepped up in a major way, making him one of our finalists. For 10 weeks, I experienced the best part of high school football in this region, the fans. And here we have some of the best moments from the fans I had the privilege of meeting. All right, so we're out here in Nelsonville, New York, and I'm trying to find my next fan of the week, but I'm having trouble finding anyone.
We have so much pride that we're just the best. Go, Tate!
All right.
Let's go, Bucks! Let's go, Bucks! Let's go, Bucks!
2013 Unioto?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Can we get a Go Shermans or Go Tanks?
Reed, we're out here for the game. I think he's fascinated with the band.
Ooga chaka, ooga, ooga, ooga chaka, ooga, ooga.
Brittany, I'll get rusted.
Oh no, no!
So I'm here with Chase, and he is Logan's craziest fan. He's painted all pink, and he's got the bunny ears, and he is definitely the Chieftain's biggest fan. So he's our next fan of the week. Coming into this season, the Trimble Tomcats were riding a 28-game regular season win streak. But the Nelsonville York Buckeyes had an upset on their mind when they traveled to Gloucester in the very first week of the season.
Rivalries. It's what makes sports thrilling. And when you're neighbors, it adds fuel to the fire. Trimble and Nelsonville York's Week 1 clash had all the elements for a game of the year. And wise Noah Andrews gives them the early lead, but their fire would die in the second quarter, giving up 2 touchdowns to Justice Jenkins and the lead to the Tomcats 12-6. And the senior picks up right where he left off in the third. Another touchdown run, 11 yards out, extends the lead to 13. But the Buckeyes respond. Hunter Edwards ignites his offense in the third quarter with a 4-yard TD run, and a 2-yard run from Noah Andrews on their ensuing possession evens the score at 20. Early in the fourth quarter, Alex Mount finds nothing but green grass as he breaks away for 40 yards. NY takes the lead 26-20. With 40 seconds to go, Trimble looks for a miracle. On 4th and 5, Andrew Losey's Hail Mary falls incomplete. The Buckeyes record their only win of the season and snap Trimble's 28-game regular season win streak.
After Trimble lost that game, it looked like the TVC Hocking might be up for grabs for the first time in 3 years. Duncan Goldberg breaks down the Tomcats' year as well as the rest of the conference, which included 3 playoff teams.
This season, the TVC Ohio was yet again dominated by the Trimble Tomcats. The Tomcats went undefeated in conference play and ended up winning their 3rd straight Hocking crown. Trimble was led by their star running back Justice Jenkins, who ran for 2,145 yards and had a total of 37 touchdowns. Belpre was also impressive this year as they ended up finishing 2nd in the conference. The Golden Eagles only had 1 loss in conference play and ended the regular season red hot as they won their final 8 games. South Gallia started the year off slow as they lost 4 of their first 6 games, but the Rebels' playoff push was incredible as they won their final 4, including the last game against Miller, which catapulted them into the playoffs and to 3rd in the conference. The Miller Falcons were the exact opposite of the Rebels as they started the season 4-0, but an injury to their star running back Cody McInnes would really hurt as they went on to lose 4 of their last 6 games to end the season, which would leave them finishing 4th in the Hocking and just missing out on the playoffs.
Thanks, Duncan. We are now joined by Kelsey Steele. And Kelsey, it was another solid season of Hocking play in the books. What can we expect for 2016?
Now, 2016 will be without some household names in the Hocking. Over in South Gallia, Isaiah Geiger bids his farewell alongside the Hutchison brothers. And Cody McInnes ends his reign for Miller with over 1,600 yards on the ground. And for Belpre, they graduate longtime leaders in Tavian Miller and Nathan Mason. And of course, 2-time Gridiron Glory Player of the Year finalist Justice Jenkins ends his historic career with the Tomcats. The senior broke the school record for rushing yards this season, amassing over 5,400 yards, but there are some key returners to look out for in 2016. The athleticism of Dejon Bedgood is not going anywhere. Football fans have 1 more year to experience the thrill he brings to the game. And another guy to keep your eye on is Cameron Curry, really a breakout year for this Tomcat. He returns for his senior year, and with Jenkins gone, we're going to see him carrying the ball that much more. And, you know, losing some key seniors, there are going to be some leadership roles to fill. I think Curry will fall right into place on that front.
Well, that's for sure. Now, with the returners and losses on the table, who do you see landing atop the Hocking next year?
You know, it's really a toss-up for me, Justin. This is the year of a lot of key losses throughout the conference, with Dejon Bedgood returning at Belpre and Jet Facemeyer back for Waterford. That could give each team a slight advantage. And you know, with the recent success of the Trimble program, it's hard to count them out. A year of change in 2016, that's for sure.
And you mentioned the success of that Trimble program. Is it really the end of an era for the Tomcats?
You know, it might be an historic last 4 years for Coach Ferris' program, to say the least. I'm really interested to see what they go into doing this offseason. A lot of restructuring and rebuilding over the next year. I will say these Tomcats now know what it takes to compete at that top level. In the coming years, it may be where hard work makes up for that natural talent. But as we know, there's never anything short of hard work when it comes to the kids out from Gloucester.
And I'm looking forward to see what Trimble can do next year. Kelsey, thanks for everything this year. And Trimble came out on the wrong end in that game against NY.
In the regional quarterfinal.
But in their playoff game against Shadyside, they got the job done. In their first round, they barely squeaked by Shadyside, and when it comes to winning, these Tomcats know how to get it done.
In the regional quarterfinals, Trimble got a home playoff game again against a familiar opponent. The Tomcats and the Shadyside Tigers met for the 3rd consecutive year in the postseason. Both teams' defenses dug in hard early, dominating the first half. On Trimble's last drive of the second quarter, they drove the ball the length of the field and capped it off with a 20-yard field goal by Max Hooper. Shadyside would get the ball back with less than 2 minutes to halftime, and they nearly converted for 6 points, but none other than Player of the Year finalist Justice Jenkins secured a touchdown-saving tackle on the 1-yard line as time expired. In the second half, Jenkins would come out with 2 rushing touchdowns, and Trimble had a 17-0 lead at the beginning of the fourth quarter. The Tigers would claw back though, and Chase Wade would have 2 touchdown catches in the fourth to bring Shadyside within 3 points. With under 3 minutes remaining and facing a 4th and short, Andrew Losey was able to pick up the first down and move Trimble past Shadyside for the 3rd consecutive year, as Trimble took the win in this one 17-14.
We're going to stay on the Trimble theme for our next Player of the Year candidate. Justice Jenkins was a finalist last year, and after amassing 2,300 all-purpose yards and 36 touchdowns, he was a lock to make the cut again.
Justice Jenkins, tailback, Trimble High School. I don't have the best speed, but once I get outside, there's not very many people that can catch me, and I have the power to break a lot of tackles. Coach Ferris helped me out a lot. He even before a game, like I didn't have cleats, and he brought me an extra pair of cleats. And Oz is really like one of my best friends. The first time that anyone from Trimble has won the Gridiron Glory Player of the Year. I know my brothers have been on the show, and it would mean a lot to get a little edge on them that I've won.
Justice was unable to make it to the show tonight, but his numbers speak for themselves. He totaled 2,300 all-purpose yards for Trimble and found the end zone 36 times. In his 4 years playing, the Tomcats won 37 games and only lost 3 in the regular season, and they also won 9 playoff games. Now we're less than 10 minutes away from revealing Gridiron Glory's next Coach of the Year. This year's finalists are Sean Bartley, Justin Buttermore, Alex Penrod, Dwayne Hall, Andy Hall, and Jared Sparling. Between these 6 men, they had a combined record of, get this, 50 wins and only 10 losses in the regular season. Be sure to keep it right here to see if your coach was able to come out on top. And as always, you can tweet at us with your reaction when we reveal this year's winner. Our finale show isn't done yet, but unfortunately, the high school football season is. Don't worry though, because here at WOUB, we roll right from the gridiron to the hardwood. Now you've seen him before, and you're going to be seeing a lot more of him. I'm now joined by Sean Neidig, the host of the 7th season of Hardwood Heroes.
Yeah, Justin, I enjoy football season as much as anyone, but I cannot tell you how excited I am for the high school basketball season to get started. I've traded my red polo for this very nice navy one, and we'll have some awesome storylines we'll be following all season long, starting right now on our website. Our show does not start until mid-January, but our first games are right around the corner. So be sure to head on over to woub.org/heroes for all kinds of midweek and early season content about your favorite TVC teams. And while you're at it, give us a follow on Twitter at Hardwood Heroes, and you can follow my host account at hhost_Sean. We also have a Facebook page for you to like, and you can add us on Snapchat as well.
So Sean, I saw you guys were at the TVC Girls preview last week.
Yeah, we were out there, and tomorrow we're going to be out at Athens High School for the boys preview. So if you see us out there, feel free to come over, say hi, and I can't wait to talk some high school hoops.
Well, I'm looking forward to it, Sean. It's going to be a great year for you guys. Congratulations on the role, too. Now, coming into this year, Tri-Valley was on a 34-game win streak in the MVL, gearing up to win its 5th straight conference title. Jordan Gallagher gives us a recap of the season and the teams that gave the Scotties a run for their money.
It was a dogfight for the top spot in the MVL, and once again it was the Scotties who took home the title, winning their 5th straight conference championship. Through Week 5, Tri-Valley, Maysville, and Sheridan were all undefeated in league play, which set the stage for a fantastic second half of MVL football. Coming into their Week 6 matchup against Sheridan, Maysville's toughest game had been against Crooksville, who finished 4-4 in the MVL. Sheridan, however, had yet to be challenged, winning its previous league games by 35 or more. When Sheridan and Maysville did eventually meet, it was a battle between running backs. Maysville was led by Chase Roberts and Sheridan by Derek Gross. In the end, it was the Generals who came out on top in a thrilling 14-6 game. Sheridan almost fell to next week, squeaking out a 20-17 victory against a Philo team that also finished 4-4 in the MVL. The victory set up a matchup between the remaining undefeated teams in a game that decided sole possession of the top spot in the MVL. When all was said and done, it was the Scotties' stout defense and bruising running game that gave them the 38-14 victory and the MVL title.
Another year, another MVL title for the Scotties. Nathan, this isn't really what you expected back in August, though.
Yeah, you're right, and I learned an important lesson that day, and that is to no matter what, don't doubt the capabilities of Tri-Valley football. Back in our preview, I did make a bold choice, and I picked Maysville to win it all. But hey, Tri-Valley's accomplishment speaks wonders about their coach, Justin Buttermore. He has coached for 9 seasons, won 5 MVL titles, and 3 of those were led by 3 different quarterbacks. Astonishing.
And speaking of coaches, legendary Sheridan coach Paul Culver told his players after their triple overtime 20-14 victory over New Lex that this would be his last game coaching the Generals. What kind of legacy does he leave behind, Nathan?
Well, Justin, I think that's a simple answer, and that he's going to go down as one of the best coaches in Southern Ohio history. I know that's bold, but it's true. Coach Culver, man, he's just a class act coach, and he's been fun to cover. It's sad to see his tremendous 44-year coaching career come to an end. He's racked up 324 career wins, 15 MVL titles, 17 playoff appearances, 2 state Final Four trips, and a state runner-up finish in 1987. It's going to be extremely different not seeing Coach on the sideline next year, but I know us here at Gridiron Glory wish him the best in his retirement.
So I know it's going to be early, Nathan, but who do you think is going to win the MVL next year?
Well,
really quick.
Yeah, Justin, I'm not making the same mistake as I did earlier in the year. It's going to be Tri-Valley. 2016 is going to be a big year for him. Andrew Newsom, he received a good amount of reps at quarterback this year, and he's only a sophomore. Leading rushers Cody Collins and Bryce Farmer also return, as well as wideouts Colin Slobodan and Matt Lawler. I just don't think any team in the MVL is going to come close to taking down the defending champs.
So it's going to be a great year in the MVL next year. Nathan, thanks a lot. Now, we just mentioned it, but Sheridan and New Lex had one of the games of the year in a triple overtime win for Sheridan, 20-14. So it's by far one of our top games of the year.
The stage was set at Jim Rockwell Stadium. Week 10, Sheridan's playoff hopes on the line, but New Lexington was out of the race and just wanted to give their seniors one more good game. They were trying to spoil the Generals' postseason hopes, and they had a good shot if they could shut down Trevor Davison and Derek Gross in the general backfield. The Panther defense had been inconsistent all year, but they were able to hold Sheridan quarterback Dylan Dubler and the dual-headed rushing attack to just 2 touchdowns in regulation. New Lexington's offense couldn't get much going, so to overtime they went tied at 14. The action didn't stop in just 1 overtime, though. They had to take it to triple overtime. After turnovers and missed field goals stalled both teams' drives, Sheridan finally got it done on their possession in triple overtime when Dubler ran it in for 6 to give the Generals the 2014 win and finish their 2015 campaign on a high note.
Tri-Valley may have won the MVL again, but the best player and overall athlete in the league plays for Maysville. Chase Roberts was forced to be reckoned with, and he missed a few games last year, but came back stronger than ever in his senior year to make our finalist list.
Chase Roberts, wingback, played for Maysville High School. I started when I was in 3rd grade, so I've been playing ever since all the way up to my senior season.
I mean, he was always a special kid, and everybody knew it.
I just try to get out and go and try not to let people touch me, but I mean, if there is somebody in my way, I'm going to try to put my shoulder down and get the extra yards. I've always just been confident in myself, always just believed that I could do anything that somebody else could do. If not, I could try to do it better than them.
When he gets on that field, and you can see him shaking his head, you can see it in his eye, you know it's going to happen.
Before the game, when the coaches came in, I'd go around, I just look at everyone, I would just look at them in their eyes, and I just know they're ready. I just try to be as best of a person I can for the kids younger than me, and even the guys in high school that look up to me.
He's really grown up to be a man.
At the end of the year, Roberts had over 1,000 total yards and also snagged 4 interceptions. But more importantly, the Panthers went to 3 playoff games in his career. And Nick Amiotti, it's been a while, but you're back to chat with one of the best football talents in Southeast Ohio.
Well, Chase, as good as you are on the football field, a lot of people around Maysville admire your leadership skills. You say a bunch of kids in the community look up to you. What makes you such a good role model?
I think I really set a good example for everyone. My younger brother and all of his friends, they all look up to me, and I just try to set the best example as I can for all of them, and even families, older people.
Yeah. So on the football field, you're very talented, and your vision is what makes you very special. When was the first moment that you realized that you had some sort of special vision that not many other players your age had?
Like I said, I started out in 3rd grade, and the coach always relied on me then and does now. When I got the ball, they knew something good was going to happen. So I've always just stuck with that from then to now.
You would be the first Maysville player to take home this award. What would that mean to you?
That'd be great. Honestly, that'd be great for my school, great for my community, and great for my teammates just to know that they gave me this shot to do this too.
Now, you've really created a winning tradition at Maysville, and the conference is grueling. What's it like to go through that MVL grind week after week?
You're always going to get a good defense no matter what. They're going to hit you in your mouth, and they're going to come right back and hit you in the mouth again no matter what. And you just got to get up and keep fighting.
Well, the numbers might not be as high as the other guys, but remember, the MVL schedule, very tough. Back to you, Justin.
Thanks a lot, guys. I've had a lot of fun doing Snapchat of the Year, and our first one comes from the Jackson Ironman faithful at their pep rally. I can't tell you how much I respect fans that are dedicated enough to paint their entire face, all in the name of trying to help their team win. And these Ironman fans look almost as intimidating as the football team. And our second Snapchat comes from, you guessed it, another Jackson fan. This time we have Ironman cheerleader flexing with the caption, you know, it's Ironman game day when, with a circle around champ. I gotta hand to you, that's pretty creative. A lot of guys talk about the player of the year, but I'm gonna focus on the coaches. And this year's 2015 Gridiron Glory Coach of the Year is First off, Coach, congratulations. We have this plaque here for you. Congratulations on a great season. Now, when you took over, your program was 1-9. What was your message to your players at the very beginning when you took over that led to this historic season?
Just being able to find a culture and change that culture. We did it through identity and just enthusiasm, and that's what's made it special, and kids really bought in, and the community bought into exactly what we wanted to accomplish.
So what does this award mean, not only to you, but all of Alexander?
When you talk about awards, they're not individual awards. You talk about just putting everything together, and it starts with our seniors, and it starts with our team, and it just trickles down to our community and parents and families. But most importantly, just to my coaching staff. They do a tremendous job, and I'm young, and they're even younger than what I am. So for them to be able to do what they do has been especially awesome, and especially to my wife and my beautiful daughter, Gemma.
So 21 seniors, Coach. How much are you going to miss this group of guys?
It's hard to replace a group of seniors, especially when you talk about 21 of them. So it's not going to be easy, but feel very comfortable and very confident with the guys that we do have coming up. And we're not just building the team, we're trying to build a program. That's why I have full confidence in what we're about to do in 2016.
Well, Coach, thanks a lot, and I look forward to seeing you guys next year on the field.
Thank you so much for the
again,
award.
Congratulations. No problem, Coach. You deserved it. So there you have it. Coach Penrod comes away with the Coach of the Year honors, and what a season he had with the Spartans. And speaking of a great season, all 5 of our Player of the Year candidates led their team to finish with an impressive record. The question on every mind is, who is it going to be? We still have yet to hear from Logan's quarterback Lane Little, who will be on with Nick in just a few minutes. And don't miss the end of the show, because that's when we're going to be announcing this year's winner. If you couldn't tell from those 2 Snapchats, Jackson's football team and fans were pumped for their regional final game against Zanesville. And the Ironmen put up one of the craziest pep rallies we've ever seen. Jackson opened their school doors to us to see this pep rally, and you got to believe it, that the Ironmen were fired up for their 2nd ever regional final game in school history. Tonight marked only the 2nd time, like I said, in Jackson history, that the Ironmen have played in a regional championship. And Danny Dean was lucky enough to see that title game against Zanesville.
Oh, yeah, I did. And, you know, Justin, I can't really give away the goods just yet, but this game was a bruiser. The last time these 2 teams faced was 7 years ago, and that was Andy Hall's first year at Jackson. And earlier this week, Hall told me that the Ironmen were more determined than ever, but Zanesville started off strong. 8 minutes in, this animal, Leo Crosby, you're going to hear a lot about him. He busted 14 yards, put them in good field position, and the Blue Devils, they will take the handoff, and he is in the end zone. Crosby is. It's end zone or bust for him. They go up 7-0. but Jackson does not take that lightly. Johnny Farley on this return says, "You've got size, well, I've got speed." He is going to juke a couple of Zanesville defenders, and he runs it all the way down the sideline to the Zanesville 46-yard line, but right after that, they'll fumble it, and Zanesville recovers, and surprise, surprise, look who it is, Crosby again, up the middle for a 24-yard gain, putting the Blue Devils at the 36-yard line. And right after that, quarterback Derek Grandstaff drops back, throws a beautiful touchdown pass to Alessio Amato. The Blue Devils stretch their lead 14-0. The Ironmen have the perfect response, though. Hunter Sexton hits Colin Massey for, what is it, Justin?
He gone.
That's right, 62 yards into the end zone. They go up 14-7. Now back to this powerhouse, Leo Crosby. He bulldozes his way into the end zone. They're up 21-7 before the half, and they went on to win the regional championship 38-14.
Wow, Danny, so Zanesville really dominated out there tonight. Tell me more about number 36, Leo Crosby. That kid sounded like a force.
Oh yeah, we are talking about 6 feet, 220 pounds of pure grit. That Jackson defense was no match for Crosby. He ended the night with 287 yards and 4 touchdowns. I mean, when he got the ball, he was something else. He was constantly getting gang tackled, and he would throw defenders off his back with ease. Also, on the other side of the ball, he is a dominant linebacker.
So what happened to Jackson's defense against the Blue Devils? They normally stuff runners at the line, Danny.
You know, that's the thing. Crosby was not the only force on their offense. The offensive line overpowered the Ironmen. Get this stat, Justin. The O-line's average height and weight is 6'3", 281 pounds. These are big boys, and they were no joke. Their left guard, Coulter Wilson, he is 6'6", 315 pounds, and it really affected Jackson's ability to make plays against the Blue Devils.
So that final score for it was 21, and you've covered Jackson all year. How did this game differ from expectations?
You know, going into this tonight, I thought it was going to be a low-scoring, tough defensive game, and I thought field position was going to be a major factor, but it was just the opposite. It came down to all the big plays. Every time Jackson put Zanesville in a tough situation, the Blue Devils, they'd whip out a big play and they'd shake everything up. For example, late in the second quarter, on a 3rd and long, Grandstaff threw it about 10 yards to Ben Kaufman, and Kaufman sprinted all the way inside the Jackson 20 for 68 yards. Now, as I said earlier, Crosby almost racked up 300 yards, and Derek Grandstaff threw for 124 yards collectively, and the Blue Devils, they totaled 456 yards. 332 of those were rushing.
So, Danny, it looks like Jackson's run game was not as strong as usual.
I mean, guys like Raymond Potter, Colin Massey, Johnny Farley, they are normally the guys that get the yards, and they didn't tonight. The Zanesville defense overwhelmed the Ironmen's run game. And that being said, Jackson should be proud of all they've accomplished this season. An SEOAL title and a strong playoff run is something that community will always remember.
Like you said, another strong year for Jackson, and Danny, thanks a lot. So he said it, Jackson stormed through the SEOAL on their way to a 9-1 regular season record. Griffin Ratcliffe hits rewind on Jackson's second straight title, Logan's powerful offense, and the struggles of Warren and Gallia Academy.
In its 90th year of existence, the SEOAL would once again get smaller, only sporting 4 teams. Starting the season, Logan got the first spotlight, being the first team to beat Athens in the regular season since 2012. The Chieftains in the first 6 games proved they could be an SEOAL contender, but mid-season the Chieftains lost running back Bryce McBride, and Logan lost the next 2 games. The Chieftains finished 8-2, but missed a postseason berth. The Jackson Ironmen, following their 3rd undefeated season, started with 4 straight close victories, but in Week 5, the Ironmen lost for the first time since 2013. The loss gave the Ironmen a wake-up call and averaged 43 points a game for the rest of the regular season and clinched their 14th outright SEOAL title. The Gallia Academy Blue Devils were not up to their season expectations. The Blue Devils only had Cole Carter to run the offense, with Wes Gerald not playing. Warren, on the other hand, couldn't find a leader in their team. Only scoring 85 points in the whole season, the Warriors were unable to find a break and finish without a win on the season.
Thanks, Griffin. Josh Vermillion joins me now, and we're going to move away from the past and onto the future. Josh, looking at the SEOAL, what's the 91st year looking like next year?
Well, the SEOAL is going to be even smaller come 2016. Gallia Academy, one of the original members, is leaving to join the Ohio Valley Conference, which will leave the state's oldest non-city league with just 3 schools next year. Logan and Jackson, 2 of the other founding members, along with Warren, have decided they want to stick with it and keep the league together. Warren added the Ohio Valley Athletic Conference as a secondary conference last winter, and they will continue with that next season. On the other hand, Logan and Jackson have both been looking for other conferences to join, but haven't been able to find the right fit in terms of school size and drive distances as of yet.
So only 3 schools next year. Why did Jackson, Logan, and Warren decide to keep the conference together?
Logan Athletic Director Teresa Schulteis told me that they're doing it to preserve history, but the main reason they're doing it is for the kids. Obviously, the players want to win, but the athletic directors want to give them something to play for. The players on these teams take great pride in being able to say they are league champions, and that's something they couldn't do if they were independent. The league is talking to some other schools around the area to see if they're interested in joining the league in the future, including Marietta, a 25-year member of the SCOAL, but haven't had any luck yet. And due to the lack of some sports at other schools, Athens, Alexander, and Gallia Academy will all be associate members of the SCOAL for certain sports next year.
So of the 3 schools, which one do you see having the best shot to win the SCOAL next season?
I mean, Jackson has won it 2 years in a row, and I don't see that changing next year. Jackson will have a big hole to fill at quarterback without former GGPOY Hunter Sexton, but Logan will lose its 3 biggest offensive contributors in Lane Little, Isaiah Smith, and Bryce McBride, and I'm not sure they have enough coming back to compete with that program that Andy Hall has built in Jackson, so I'm taking the Ironmen to win their 3rd straight SCOAL title.
Well, you mentioned Hunter Sexton is going to graduate, so who's going to step up and fill his shoes, because they're big shoes to fill?
The obvious choice to fill in at quarterback is junior Bryce Hall, but the Ironmen will look to Raymond Potter, Johnny Farley, and Blake McCoy to once again have great seasons rushing the ball. Those 3 helped lead the Jackson ground attack this season and should see even more touches with Colin Massey and Sexton both graduating. Potter and McCoy can gain tough yards up the middle, and Farley has the speed to get to the edge and burn the defense, and I think it's going to be up to those 3 to carry this team come 2016, Justin.
Well, I can't wait to see who wins that conference next season. Josh, thanks a lot. So in the SCOAL matchup of the year, the Jackson Ironmen thrashed Logan's hopes of a perfect season. Blaine Carraher has more on this historic rivalry.
Jackson and Logan. This longtime SCOAL rivalry had a lot on the line in 2015. Not only did this game decide the conference champion, it also could have been the last time the Ironmen and the Chieftains play each other. The first quarter was a scoreless dogfight. Lane Little had to do a lot of the work for his team. Stud running back Bryce McBride went out early due to injury. So Hunter Sexton capitalized in the second quarter when he flew through the middle of his O-line for the Ironmen's first score of the night. And then after going into the locker room at halftime with the score tied at 7-7, the Ironmen came alive. Jackson executed their game plan to perfection and chipped away at the clock, including a 6-minute drive in the fourth quarter. Jackson's ground and pound play proved to be top tier and took the win 35-21, setting them up to take the SCOAL crown.
Despite losing that game, Chieftain fans had plenty to cheer about, with Logan scoring over 34 points a game. And with Lane Little under center, the Chieftains were virtually unstoppable on offense.
Lane Little, quarterback, Logan Chieftains. I don't know how to explain it when you walk out there on Friday nights and you see the lights on. Enjoy it. It's the best 4 years that you're going to have.
As a dad, I couldn't ask for a better group of kids, a better son to have.
I lead by example in that I gave everything that I had on the field for my team and my teammates. Something that I'm probably going to miss the most is just being out there on the field.
I've never seen a young man have the vision that he has.
Team camaraderie. I love my teammates. They're my brothers. I guess that's why the community gets around, is like back then it's all they had.
As a dad, as a fan, absolutely proud of it.
I like the record to stick for a little bit, but I mean, if someone broke it, then that means Logan football is doing good, and that's all I want. Being out there is tough, but it's tough with your teammates, and you just get through it together, and I'm going to miss seeing them every day.
When you look at this season, Lane Little will go down as one of the best players to ever put on a Logan uniform. He set the school record for passing yards and touchdowns with 2,140 yards and 30 touchdowns. Nick is back for one last time with the man himself.
All right, Lane. Well, what a year this year, but let's take a trip back first. 2013, first game of the year, you're knocked out for the year. 2014, you started real hot, but this year was the first year that you really put it all together and were dominant all season long. Describe that journey to us.
Well, I guess after 2013, when I went down with that injury, I guess it kind of made me realize to take every play, don't take it for granted. So I guess when I came out in 2014, that's what kind of drove me to do well. In 2015, I guess it just all came together and put a great season together with my teammates.
Now, you mentioned it in your video there. Justin mentioned it. You rewrote a few of the Logan passing records. What does that mean for you to be up there with some of the Logan greats?
Oh, it's definitely an honor to be up there with Patrick Angle and Joey Conrad. There's some great players. It's an honor to be up there, but I couldn't have done that without my O-line. It's a very impressive O-line. Only like 11 sacks all season. I couldn't have done it without them and my receiving corps.
All right, one last question. Quick answer. Why should Lane Little win this award tonight?
I think that I should win it for the leadership ability that I show for my teammates and what I do for them, how I play every play the hardest that I can.
Pretty convincing pitch for me, Justin. We'll see if he wins this award in just a little bit. Back to you.
I can't wait to reveal it. Nick, thanks a lot for all those interviews. Finding the best 10 plays from this year has been one of my favorite things to do leading up to the show this week, and I can't wait any longer, so let's get right to it.
Starting at top play number 10, we have Trimble punt returner Cameron Curry. He makes the cut to the right, and look at all those Tomcats in front of him. He makes another cut to the inside, and he gone. Trimble went on to win 56-14, giving Miller its first loss of the year back in Week 5. Time for number 9. South Gallia quarterback Landon Hutchinson keeps it on the read option, takes it to the right, cuts left again, and it looks like he's going to step out of bounds, but instead he blows past the defender for the touchdown. We make our way over to NY for number 8. Jensen Walls catches at the 11, and watch what happens next. Walls picks his lane, and his blockers do the rest. He goes untouched up the middle, and he gone. Just look at those strides. Logan won that game on the road over Nelsonville York, 41-28. Over at top play number 7, it's all about Wahama. Here we have Miller quarterback Cole Guile letting it fly to the right sideline. But J.R. Nutter is right on top of it, diving backwards for the interception. At 6, we have the always entertaining Belpre offense. It's a low snap to Tavian Miller, but he handles it and lofts it up. Dejon Bedgood makes the leaping catch, breaks a tackle midair, breaks another tackle, and dives into the end zone for the 31-yard touchdown. And Logan's offense is just as explosive as Belpre's is entertaining. For number 5, Lane Little drops back in the pocket and throws up a rainbow. Isaiah Smith jumps over one Blue Devil and brings down the 29-yard touchdown. And here's a fun fact, Smith won Offensive Player of the Year in Division II of the Southeastern District. And here we have Alexander in the 4 spot. Cody Bartram is looking for an open man, and he has his eyes set on Zach Helton. But so does Lucas Thompson as he delivers the huge hit in this Week 10 showdown. Now it's down to the top 3 of the year. Tavian Miller only needs a 2-step drop before letting it go. Somehow Josh Moore is able to make this fingertips catch, and he's pumped after that one on his senior night. And Belpre's got this top play thing on lockdown, because here they are again. Same play, same result, but different receiver. Bedgood climbs the ladder and traps the ball against his helmet, David Tyree style, for the 32-yard touchdown. And here it is, the best play of the 2015 season. Lucas Thompson had the 4th best play and number 1 with this incredible one-handed interception. That pick pretty much sums up Alexander's year as they went 9-1 in the regular season and won their first ever playoff game in school history.
We've waited almost a full hour, and now it's finally time. The 2015 Gridiron Glory Player of the Year is... Mason, congratulations. This is going to be yours in just a little bit, but I've got a couple questions for you. Now, I asked your coach a little bit ago, but what does this mean to you and to the Alexander community?
I just think it means that this whole year has been a success. We've accomplished so much, and it's just been awesome to see what all a small community like us can do when everybody comes together and puts a lot of hard work on the table.
So between you and Coach Penrod, it's a sweep for Alexander. You guys went from 1-9 to arguably the best season in Alexander history. What has this year been like for you?
It's been crazy. I never would have expected if you would have told me that we would be this good. But I think we just all believed in each other, and it's just been crazy, like I said.
So after your sophomore year ended, did you ever expect this kind of thing this year?
No, I mean, I honestly had thoughts of never playing football again after being that low in your career. But then you got to take a look in the mirror and you come back and you work harder the next day and you just keep trying to get better. And that's what I think us at Alexander have done.
So what have all of these seniors meant to you? I said 21 seniors. You're one of them, but there's 20 other guys out there.
They meant the world. We've played together since 4th grade. We've always been somewhat successful together, and it just means the world when I got to walk the last time on the field with those guys.
Well, thanks a lot, Mason. And like I said, this is your award to keep. Congratulations on a great season, and to Coach Penrod as well. Well, there you have it. I can't believe it, but the 17th season of Gridiron Glory has come and gone. Thanks to all the fans and 35 teams we covered. It's been an honor hosting this show for you. There's no way I could have been able to do this without my Gridiron family. Thanks for everything you've done for the show. This has truly been one of the most amazing experiences of my life. And remember, for the last time, there's nothing better than Friday nights and Gridiron Glory.